Where we start this hour with Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut. Senator, you said this in response to the Atlantic story. The Trump cabinet's reckless security breach is appalling. Teenagers making plans for a Saturday night mix-up group text chains. The National Security Advisor and Secretary of Defense discussing mission details where American lives might be at risk. Cannot. What you saw at the hearing today, what more questions do you have?
You know, it was a deadly serious security breach, literally a breakdown in our security system. And what most shocked and surprised me about today's hearing was the denial, top officials in denial about how endangered our men and women in uniform were embarking on this mission that put them deeply in harm's way. You know, I've talked to some of the pilots who have undertaken these missions against the Houthis. They have very seriously threatening air defense systems that can shoot down our planes. And the early warning that might have been given them about the targets, the human targets that were on the list, about the weather, about the weapon systems, about all of the details and the sequencing of what might happen in the events afterward, to describe these kinds of very precise, specific details as undeserving of classification, top secret status, is head-spinning from the top officials of our security establishment. And I agree there has to be accountability. If the facts are as reported, there should be resignations, and there should be an investigation either by the Defense Department IG, Inspector General, or by the FBI, the specific security investigative service within the FBI, because there is potentially here a violation of the Espionage Act, as well as the Federal Records and Presidential Records Acts. There are serious potential violations of law at stake here. And the denial that we've heard about this material being classified is jaw-dropping.
It strikes me, Senator, that here you are having this hearing, have it every year, to assess America's national security positions. The fact that you couldn't spend that time focused on threats abroad, because instead you had to be focused on threats here at home. What does that tell you about the state of America's national security?
That's such a good point, and it's so important that this breach of security is not a one-off, as the ranking member, Senator Mark Warner, said. It's part of a pattern. The pattern is carelessness, recklessness, the mocking of security classification, as was done at Radcliffe's swearing in, where everything he may be thinking could be classified. Well, you know, I'm actually an advocate of declassifying a lot more. I think that there is overclassification. My colleagues are accustomed to my saying at the end of one of our classified briefings, you know, everything you've told us, the American people deserve to hear. But in this instance, there is nothing more meriting classification. And the pattern of recklessness, of distraction, I think is potentially going to cause a major catastrophe in our national security. So many of the threats are from abroad, but the greatest danger to our country's security may be from within, in this administration's reckless and irresponsible treatment of our foreign policy. And I would just add that the biggest factor mentioned by the Vice President against doing this mission at this time was the potential for helping our allies. Think of it for a moment. The president, he said, might be against doing this mission because it would aid Europe and our Mideast allies, and we want to exact something in return. That kind of approach to foreign policy is also endangering our country.
Right, Senator, to loop back to this question of accountability, when you talk about resignations, when you talk about investigations, the possibility of criminal charges, if we accept the premise that there are not going to be resignations from this administration, that the investigations they would ordinarily be in charge of, there will be no appetite for, where does that leave Congress? And more specifically, what are you hearing from your Republican colleagues about their appetite to hold this administration accountable?
I think that the attitude of my Republican colleagues was pretty well summarized by John Cornyn, who said, looks like a screw-up. Well, a screw-up is an understated way to describe it. We need bipartisan cooperation, not only from my Republican colleague John Cornyn of Texas, but from the chairman of the Armed Services Committee, from other leaders on the Republican side and Democratic side. This issue is too big to be made partisan. It should be bipartisan. And frankly, the Republicans finally have to step up and acknowledge the incompetence and embarrassing carelessness of this administration, because it will haunt them if they fail to protect our country. And I'm going to press them, as I have in the last 24 hours, to do the right thing here. We need not only an investigation, but heads should roll as a result of this kind of screw-up. And the President of the United States is well accustomed to saying, you're fired. That's what he should say to Hegseth and Walz if the facts are proved by an investigation, as we think they are.
Senator Richard Blumenthal, thank you for your time and for making this so plain.